The Renee Good situation is Renee bad. I've been thinking about that joke for a month. A whole month I've been thinking about that joke. If you don't know what's happened, I'm going to give you a quick summary. There was a woman who was married to another woman, or in a relationship with another woman, more so not married, and she drove into an ICE agent, or at least that's the narrative that the DOJ is pushing. She drove her car adjacent to an ICE agent. An ICE agent unleashed a whole clip on her. It was insane. People were saying, oh, we got to look at different angles, things of that variety. I want to take everybody a step back and stop for one moment, because I didn't get to be a part of the discourse when it first came out because I was on a break. I just want to say something right now. I live in Detroit, Michigan, right? I live on a very dangerous street on the east side, which is in the hood. I witnessed cops put spikes down when somebody was trying to speed away. I watched a cop move out the way. You are never supposed to act reckless in a situation that is high stakes or high energy. They teach you that when you get a gun, when you become law enforcement. As a matter of fact, when you get a gun, you are allowed to never, and I mean this, never aim it unless you have the intention to shoot. That's what it is. You're allowed to never do that. That's what happens, realistically. I use positive, negative language in that sentence, and I don't know why I use positive, negative, where I said you're allowed to end yourself, something of that variety. You know what I mean? Positive, negative language. Don't know why I did that. Whether you think Renee Good ran into the ICE agent, whether you think the ICE agent did it unreasonably, let's talk about the outcome of the situation. That a woman is gone. She lost her life. She didn't get any justification. She didn't get an investigation. As a matter of fact, what's happening right now is that she will never get an investigation, because we are witnessing bureaucratic evil right now. Quiet bureaucratic evil. That's what's happening. We don't need no twirling mustaches or a guy doing devious schemes. This is just America. It's just democracy. That's what's happening. A woman is gone. Shot by the state. More so than the state, is shot by the administration. And here goes the machinery of accountability. The thing that is supposed to rev up automatically when power takes a life. Politely powered down. That's what happened. That's what happened. Close the blind. The room's empty. This is a choice. This is an active choice, because they have decided to not pursue. And when the police in the local state decided to try to get into it and say, we'll work with the Department of Justice to figure this out, they said, no, we're not going to do that, because you're trying to pursue this as a civil rights matter, when in reality, you got to see if she committed any crimes. That's what we should do. We should see if Renee Good had any criminal history, which she basically didn't. She basically didn't. But they shut the entire thing down because it would undermine Trump's public statements. That's basically the entire thing. At first, they were trying to pursue it as a civil rights case, and then they said, we can't do that, so let's pursue it as something else. But then they were encouraged to step down completely because it might undermine what Donald Trump said. Now, at first, this was alleged. As of today, we have that completely confirmed. Because it's not in the public diaspora and a bunch of people don't care about it, a lot of people aren't talking about it because we got the Epstein files. I believe some Valorant streamer broke up or something of that variety. There's a lot of stuff going on just over and over and over again. Chibi Reviews says that he got cheated on somebody. There's so much drama. There's comic book drama and all this other drama going on back and back and back and forth and back and forth. We're not focusing on the bigger thing. Imaru got called racist for not immediately saying ICE is evil. It's a whole thing going on. But notice how fast the energy shifted. As soon as they said we will investigate, everybody thought, well, we've done our job, guys. Let's move on to the next Frankenstein. Not even focusing on Victor. Victor keeps making the creatures. So they said, actually, never mind. There's no public outrage. Okay. Real investigations do not evaporate unless something is being protected. Law enforcement loves process. I promise you it does. I have worked for a pro bono law office. They love process. They love paperwork, love jurisdiction and task force and timelines and press conferences. These things are their native language. You know, every time the police do anything, they have to write a report. Every time. I didn't know that. I had no clue. Anything they do, whether it be a traffic stop, whether it be them bothering me, they have to write a report on it so I can look at it, and it's publicly available, and it's really cool. That's what happens. They deploy them instinctively when they feel confident in the outcome. Here, well, they wanted none of that. They didn't want any of that. When the same system that claims neutrality, and it's supposed to be neutral, decides curiosity, well, that's unnecessary. It's fear. Oh, that's fear. They're scared of something. I'm not sure what they're scared of, but they're scared of something. I'm going to figure out what they're scared of, because this is weird, isn't it? And I want to talk about the facts of the situation because I only care about the facts. I'm not going to get into anything specific that isn't a fact. Federal authorities declined a civil rights investigation, even though the entire point of civil rights law is to address killings carried out under color of authority. That's what it is. That's what it is. It is literally what the division exists for. State investigators lose access to evidence and are told, in effect, to stand down, stop asking questions to people with guns, investigate themselves while everyone else is locked outside the room. Oh, the ball crushing factory investigated that it's not crushing balls. That's what's happening right now. Are you sure you guys are called the ball crushing factory? Yeah, we're not crushing balls. That's an insane rumor. We did an internal investigation, decided that, yeah, we did not investigate. We did investigate. We did investigate. We did a slip of the tongue, Freudian slip. We investigated and discovered that balls are not being crushed. The public is just kind of letting it slide through too. That's the worst part that's killing me. The public is just saying, wow, guess we got to focus on the next thing. And I know the Epstein files are huge. They are. I don't want you to stop talking about the Epstein files. I really don't. I don't want you to stop talking about whatever drama your niche circle was into, whether it be the chibi reviews, whether it be Comics Explained and Blurt Without Fear, whether it be the Valorant streamer stuff, whatever your thing is, whether you still hate Emaru, whether it be Hassan Piker. I know those things are really important, but someone's gone, right? There's a life loss. You know how horrified I am of the concept of losing my life? You know how many times I think about the aspect that I won't be here after this? You know how much I try to invest and put into my life and utilize my free will to the best of my ability because of the fear I have, the existential dread of no longer being here? That is a horrifying thought. Somebody is gone. This is not how justice behaves. This is how damage control behaves, and it's weird. Corruption, for all it's worth, does not always look like a briefcase of cash being slid across the table. Sometimes it looks like do not proceed. That's corruption. It looks like not releasing the other half of the Epstein files, despite the fact that we got 3.5 million and we need 2.5 million. It looks like a leader deciding that scrutiny creates political inconvenience. Seems a little bit strange. We don't want to deny Donald Trump. It's strange. Inconvenience ranks higher than truth all the time. That's how it works. It looks like rules being flexible for power and rigid for everyone else. And people say, well, they understand it better. I'm going to defend these billionaires. I'm going to defend Nintendo. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Accountability is becoming optional for the biggest powers that be, and it's disgusting, whether it be the agents at state or the DOJ or the administration in totality. And with the aspect that the President Trump got with the fact of the matter that he is no longer technically a convicted felon until he gets out of office, so they continually try him, it is bad. Despite being tried for so many different felonies, and he is a convicted felon, it doesn't say in the rules anywhere that a convicted felon cannot run. Even if every official statement uses words such as thorough and complete, no other action will be taken. This is going to happen. And Renee Good will be a footnote in corruption and destruction and evil. What grosses me out so much is how familiar this all feels, right? It's nasty. Pattern repeats, different names, different cities, different families, left staring at the same blank wall. All these people, think of the families is what I actually want to think about, because no one ever talks about that. Try to reframe the conversation, narrow down the scope, and then nothing happens. They want to make it too big so nobody cares. Together they form a perfect system for making responsibility disappear. That's the design of the system. That's what it is. The messaging around it adds another layer of rot. Officials speak and say, well, we got due process, and we'll try our best. But this is the crazy part. I watched the public statement, and I have never seen law enforcement so despondent and angry. They are visibly angry. They're angry that they're getting pushed out of the investigation. This is insane. We are having the local authorities, the local state authorities versus the government in totality. That's what's happening. It's nasty. That logic only ever appears when we're getting close to a civil war. That's what's happening. Evidence leads to investigation. It doesn't lead to the cancellation of investigation. That's insane. That's the most insane thing I've ever seen. Scary thing for me this exposes is how fragile civil rights enforcement really is. It exists only as long as powerful people feel like honoring it. The moment it threatens the image of the institution, the most powerful, the moment it might actually hold power accountable, oh, now we gotta defer it. We gotta see. It's unnecessary to do so, right? It doesn't seem any reasonable to do that. These are decorations, is what they are. Decorations, and they do nothing besides make the place look a little pretty. And the moment they become inconvenient, they get taken down and put in storage. That's what's going on all the time. A woman is still dead. That's the important part. A family is grieving. A community is still waiting for something that looks like acknowledgement. It's not happening. The system that caused the harm refuses to even look itself in the mirror. And I am disgusted by the horrifying actions that happened to Renee Good. Pretty sure nothing happened with Alex Petty either. I'm not even sure about that. I didn't look into that yet, but I will. I'm going to talk about these things because they are important to me. They're important to me because they're all I think about nowadays. I don't have the luxury of not paying attention to all this stuff. I don't, because it keeps happening. It's over and over again. It's part of my life now. It's a part of an active system that constantly tells me that I'm worthless over and over again. And I don't want to feel as if I'm worthless. I don't want to feel disgusting in my own skin. I don't want to feel so powerless and helpless when I know that we collectively have power, but we collectively don't do anything. We're still doing regular actions because the average person doesn't care. Average person doesn't care. I'd like for something to happen. I really just need 1 million of you guys, realistically. If I can get 1 million of you guys, I can get something going. But I don't have 1 million right now. Got 5,000, 10,000. And I can get you guys to call your state representatives and annoy them. And I really do mean annoy them. Annoy your state representatives. Call them. I'm going to call my state representative today. So yeah, have a lovely day or night wherever you're at. And I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your Nick and Night, be my loyal, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride when you're free.